So it's official now. A federal grand jury has indicted that Mexican illegal immigrant who tried to put a hit out, allegedly, on my guest from yesterday. Authorities say this man orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot, and the target, Chief Border Patrol Agent Greg Bovino. That gang leader is accused of soliciting Bovino's killer using social media to put a bounty on his head. The Homeland Security Department warned about the rise of bounties targeting federal agents. The cartel-backed bounties cost up to $50,000 for assassinating high-ranking officials. Here is Chief Bovino in focus yesterday.
Since those bounties were put out, we've had to take different measures to keep our agents safe, our ICE officers safe, and our allied law enforcement agents safe as they go into the field. And something else, Harris, that we're seeing is the lethality of the assaults against officers and agents. That lethality is increasing, and I think it's because of the bounties and that crazy rhetoric by the out-of-control governor and mayor.
Well, here is just some of that rhetoric from the governor he's talking about, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
The extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch.
The federal government doesn't get to hold a state hostage to change our state laws.
This is not about public safety. This is not even about immigration. This is a continuation of the Trump administration's war on the poor.
I studied the Holocaust. I helped to build a Holocaust museum. This is what happened in the early days of the Nazi regime in Germany. I'm not suggesting we're going the same direction necessarily, but boy, it's frightening.
That is irresponsible. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with this warning, quote, "Their campaign of terror against the brave men and women who protect our homeland will be crushed, and these cartel members will be brought to their knees. President Trump and I have the backs of every member of law enforcement across our nation." Again, Secretary Noem. And focus now, the president's border czar, Tom Homan. Look, when you hear about the bounties, that's a different level. That fits in with this assassination culture, it would seem, in some way.
Yeah, you know, it's incredible. I mean, I've been doing this job since I started in 1984. I worked for 7 different administrations, Harris, 7.
Wow.
And I've never seen anything even close to this, the hateful rhetoric that has caused over 1,000% increase in ICE officers. Chief Bovino, good friend of mine, he's doing a terrific job. He hasn't been home in months, going from city to city and helping run these operations. But the hateful rhetoric has to stop. I said back in March, if the hateful rhetoric continues, there will be bloodshed. People are going to die. And they have, unfortunately. One person died trying to attack the Border Patrol facility in Texas, and those officers killed him. Then we got another group showed up at an ICE detention facility, shooting that facility, and they wounded one officer by shooting him in the neck. Then we had the Dallas shooting, the sniper that shot into a shaded van, hoping to hit ICE agents, but hit our detainees. So, and I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. I've seen this play out before. It's not going to stop. There's going to be more bloodshed unless this hateful rhetoric stops.
Look, when we hear all that you just ticked off, we realize that there is a staccato movement in all of this. Is there any kind of way to break the grip that the cartel has right now on orchestrating these hits? Is it coming from one particular group?
No, it's come from a lot of groups. Like I've had, I got death threats from the cartels myself. But the bottom line is the cartels are hurting. President Trump created the most secure border in the history of this nation, which means less drugs, less of their poisons getting across. They're taking to the waters. We knew they'd take maritime once the border got shut down, the land border. They're taking the maritime. President Trump shutting that down with his attacks. So they're hurting, and they want to, you know, affect United States law enforcement so they can keep moving their drugs in. They want to fear law enforcement to fear them. But bottom line is the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol aren't going to fear them. So I think President Trump's doing the right thing. He's playing the away game. He's taking the cartels on in Mexico and Central America and Venezuela. So we're going to end up, like President Trump said, promised, he's going to annihilate these cartels, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So they can threaten all they want. It's not going to stop ICE from doing the job. It's not going to stop Border Patrol doing the job. It's not going to stop me from doing my job. We're going to continue to make this America safe again, one day at a time. Every criminal threat we arrest makes our community safer. Bottom line, we're going to continue to do that.
Louisiana's Governor Jeff Landry is out with a new ad highlighting the state's new detention facility and warning criminal illegal aliens, the most violent of them, so-called Louisiana lockup, is based inside the country's largest maximum security prison. It houses more than 400 illegal alien detainees. Let's watch part of that ad.
I know you all in the media will attempt to have a field day with this facility to make those who broke the law in some of the most violent ways victims.
And I want to come back to you now and just get your reaction. We know we've got Alligator Alcatraz down in Florida, the Speedway Slammer in Indiana.
Consequences matter. You know, I just told you we have the most secure border in history of this nation because of President Trump's leadership and executive orders, because of men and women, the Border Patrol, what they're doing on that border, but also because of what ICE is doing in the interior and showing, like Governor did, we have consequences. You will be locked up. You will be deported. And we send that message across the whole world that we got over 1,000 ICE teams on the streets every day. People are giving their life savings to the criminal cartels to make that dangerous journey. So one of the reasons we have the most secure border in history of this nation is because we're showing there's consequences. And we got great relationships with several governors across the country. We're going to keep showing there are consequences for violating our laws. There are consequences for ignoring an immigration judge's removal. And there are consequences for committing crimes against U.S. citizens, especially if you're here illegally.
Mm-hmm. You know, you've been hearing about some liberals. California is one of those states where they want to help out the people who are left behind as you take the violent criminals off the streets. What do the families of these threatened officers and ICE agents need?
They need protection, and they need to help the federal government protect not only the agents, but their spouses. Look, Harris, I have not lived with my wife since late March because of death threats against me. And now there are reporters out there trying to find the location of my family. There are reporters trying to identify who my sons are. I mean, this has gone beyond the pale. It's insulting. And, you know, God bless the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol. Before I go to bed every night, I say a prayer for every person out there wearing that shield that they go home safe to their families. And every illegal alien we arrest goes home safe to their families. I don't want to see any bloodshed.
Border czar for the country, Tom Homan, thank you for being in focus.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.